It's a 2-on-1. Barkov moves in. He's got a trailer. Uyghur is all alone. Saved by Lankinen. Rebound will score! Barkov got it! A short-handed goal!
Welcome to Project Panthers, a weekly podcast discussing your Florida Panthers. Now, here's your host, Brunswick.
What a week, what a week, what a week. I am your host, Brunswick. The show is Project Panthers, and what a week it's been in Panthers territory. You're listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or one of the other many ranges of podcast delivery methods these days. You can find us on Twitter by searching at Project Panthers, at PROJ Panthers. You can find us on Instagram at Project Panthers Pod, and now on Facebook by searching Project Panthers. The Florida Panthers record currently sits at 27-4 at the time of this recording, still sitting second place in the new NHL's Central Division, now 4 points behind Tampa Bay, but also tied for second best team in the entire NHL, so not too shabby, not too shabby. Since our last regular show, the Cats have had one of the rougher weeks of the season, going 2-2-0, and no time to waste though, so let's get started with the first game of this past week, Monday night at the BB&T Center against the Blackhawks. The end of this game marked the halfway point of the season. Panthers started a bit slow. Blackhawks get the first goal off a really poor turnover from Anthony Duclair. Gets caught with the puck on the boards. Decides to move into the center of the ice. 12 feet from Bobrovsky. Gives up the puck and bam. Blackhawks capitalize. Patrick Kane makes him pay. Can't make that kind of mistake that close to your net. Playing with the puck. It's a irresponsible play by Duclair, and you don't want to see any of that from anyone, unfortunately. Panthers get a power play in the first, and the second unit takes advantage. Owen Tippett scores off a bouncing puck that hit a few things on its way to the net. Tie game. Tippett has a four-game point streak with 3 goals and assists during that span. So nice to see the second unit once again getting rewarded for their easy, simple game plan of just getting pucks on net. This one was a funky bounce, and Tippett got the advantage of it. In the second period, Panthers really dictated play. They're all over the Blackhawks, creating some chances themselves, but once again, struggling to focus defensively and start giving up some odd man rushes. The Blackhawks are a really quick team. They're really good at generating some speed down the wing, and as we know, as I've mentioned on this podcast, numerous amount of times, it's kryptonite for the Panthers, especially this year, and the Blackhawks seem to know how to exploit it. They come down the ice with speed, and once again, the Panthers failed to adjust to the acceleration on the rush, and boom, Chicago's up 2-1 on the Kurashev goal. Hawks get a 2-on-1 down low, and Ekblad and Gudas just couldn't reposition in time to block the pass from getting to Kurashev for the goal. Blackhawks kept it coming. Bob stands tall, chance after chance for the Blackhawks, but eventually they end up scoring, and of course they score on the weird play that ends up bouncing off of a few things and ends up on Haig's stick right in front of the net. Empty net. 3-1. Panthers down 2, but they don't stop skating. They got the Hawks right where they want them at this point, right? Down to 2 goals. Seems like the Panthers' MO these days. Penalties drawn, and Mr. Top Shelf Aaron Ekblad scores his 10th goal of the season on the power play for the Panthers. Cats now down 3-2. This is the 6th season of Ekblad's career with double-digit goals and only 6 away from tying his career high. He's scoring at a pace of 29 goals. As I mentioned in last week's mid-season review, 29 goals pace over an 82-game season right now. That is good. Damn good. Team keeps coming. Forsling grabs a pass on the point and flicks a wrister on net. Beats Lankinen blocker's side. Takes a weird bounce and just kind of catches Lankinen. Comeback Cats strike again. This team is incredible. This team is honestly incredible. Forsling's got a goal and an assist on the night. 4th point in 4 games. Love seeing him getting rewarded for his play. I called it out a couple of weeks ago, and he wasn't getting rewarded for what he was doing on the ice, and finally seeing him get on the board is great to see. His willingness to take the wrist shot on net from the point is also really an underrated play. Most guys will wind it up and crank it, and although Forsling has quite the shot on him, he really does. When he chooses to take the wrist shot, it seems to get through more often than not. You have a little bit more of a chance at an accurate shot and deciding where the puck goes. So the odds of it finding eyes through the net and through the kerfuffle in front of the net, a little higher. Cats go into the third tied up at 3. Teams exchange some chances, but the Panthers take a couple of late penalties, and they give Chicago a great opportunity to take the lead. Fortunately for the Panthers, their PK is absolutely lights out in this one. Hawks barely sustained any pressure, and the Cats had the best chance. On the second power penalty kill, Barkov steals the puck in his own zone, finds Uyghur as the late man, and taps in Uyghur's rebound for the 4-3 lead, and the Panthers' first shorthanded goal of the season. Bobrovsky took over the rest of the way, made a bunch of huge saves, including 3 on Patrick Kane in this penalty kill, and a partial break about 30 seconds after the man advantage expired. Hawks pulled their goalie with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and Barkov was absolutely dominant with his defensive play. Cats managed to get 2 empty netters for the first time since I can honestly remember. I feel like they've gone stretches of 40 games without 2 empty netters, so to get 2 empty netters in this one, it was it was quite the surprise. So Cats closed it out with a nice 6-3 victory. Main takeaways from this one: Coach Q was actually asked after the game why this team is good at coming back when they're down, and I thought what he said was really interesting. He said that they basically believe that eventually something is going to happen for them offensively, and that's such a great sign in the team. That confidence in their ability and skill to never truly be out of game, such a great element to have in the locker room. And if the coach feels like the team plays like that, then the sky's the limit for these guys. I really feel that way. The team's in first place overall in the NHL at this point in the season. At this point, after the Chicago game, they were sitting on top. Best start in franchise history. I tweeted out that the previous best start was a 41 points in 28 games achieved in 1996-97, and the season after that was the season after the 96 Stanley Cup run team. They had some momentum coming out of the gate, but this team, they're playing wonderful. They had no momentum from last season. A lot of new bodies, a lot of new guys. They're getting it done, though. Next game against Nashville. Game started a bit slow. Panthers got some chances early, but the Predators were playing much better in this one than what the Panthers have seen from the Predators in most of their games this season against the Nashville Natives. Cats get a couple of chances, but not until around the 10-minute mark does the game start to open up a bit. Panthers get on the power play, but Ekblad takes a slashing penalty after some post-whistle shenanigans in front of the net. Then Ubi takes an accidental high-sticking penalty, and suddenly the Cats are down 4-on-3. Soon to be 5-on-3. With Ekblad in the box, Coach Q shows some confidence and faith in Forsling and Gudas, though. And the Forsling and Gudas pairing get on the ice, and he puts them out there to start the PK along with Nolachari. And then Mr. Nolachari takes over. He absolutely dominates his penalty kill defensively, clogging passing lanes, stepping into shooting lanes, blocking 3 big-time opportunities for the Preds. Cats get out of the 5-on-3 unscathed thanks to Achari and nice efforts from Forsling and Gudas on the back end. Really loved seeing the coach showing some faith in those two. They've been playing really well lately and deserves to get some opportunity to prove themselves even more. Naturally, team got a bit of a boost from this, start generating more chances, and suddenly Hornquist finds himself on a 2-on-1 with Huberdeau, makes a gorgeous saucer pass right over the Preds defenseman Mike Benning. Huberdeau finishes on the back end, and the Panthers take the lead into the second period for just the 7th time this season. Nice to see from the Cats. Finally build a little bit of momentum to start the game, right? Cats get a power play to start the second, but fail to capitalize regardless, though. They do enough on the said power play to keep the momentum going. Unfortunately, Nashville gets another chance and off of a misread play, and they tie it up. Shot off of a funky bounce. Yarncroke makes a nice little play, bats it out of midair. Tie game. Doesn't stop the Panthers, though. They keep it coming. Nashville does a great job of keeping the majority of the shots to the perimeter, though. They're playing a really physical game in this second period. Anything the Panthers do get through, Saros is there to make the save. Saros was playing really good in this one as well. Really. The Preds played so physical. They were dominant of the Panthers. Just engulfed them. Didn't really give them a lot of space to move around in the offensive zone, and really got on top of the Panthers in this one. Preds got some pressure at the end of the second period because of a weak clearing attempt from Uyghur. They really need to work on those clears. They're not as often as they were at the beginning of the season, I find, but they still happen a little too often for my liking. These sort of plays create chances quite often for the opposition. It's like you give the other team a breath of life, a new chance to create something, and it can be that little momentum swing of intercepting a puck at the blue line that can create the wave of energy that comes with momentum swings. And it's crucial to be strong on the puck when you're trying to get it out in situations like that, and especially in tight games like this. So Uyghur's been a culprit on this a few times this season, so that's something you want to see the guys put a little more effort behind and not always opt for the easier play. Sometimes the right play is a little harder. It might result in taking a hit or paying the price a bit. I think that's what you got to do sometimes. And for the most part, they've been doing that well this season, but it's cost them a couple of times. And this almost cost them again. Fortunately, it didn't. But the third period starts with a bit of a disaster. Bob comes out of his net to handle the puck, hands it right to the Predators, and Yarncroke gets his second goal of the game. 2-1 Preds. This kind of stuff happens in games. A little bit of a misplay, miscue. Bob didn't know exactly where his defenseman was, but he's got to be sharper in a game like this. Your offense is clearly not finishing their chances enough. They're struggling to generate a lot of momentum and consistency against the Preds, and a play like that is deflating for a team. Duclair gets a breakaway, clear cut from the red line, and can't get it done. Soros makes a great stretch save, sticks out the pad, and robs Duclair on the breakaway. Nice save, but you really want to see Duclair score on this kind of chance. You really do. Cats generated some chances, but nothing particularly high danger as the Preds continued to keep them on the perimeter, playing that physical game and stopping the Cats from getting through in any way. Even a late power play in the third, Panthers didn't get much going. Just first unit once again, too fancy with the puck. Just passing back and forth. The Huberdeau, Yandel catch show. Strikes again. Frustrating to watch. Panthers lose 2-1. Main takeaway from this one, only one in this one, was to simplify their offense. Too many times they're passing the pucks to each other and not taking the shot. Way too many times. Indecision, passive play, need to be aggressive, and sometimes need to just take a shot and hope for the best. So often this team has benefited from taking that shot from the point and getting a deflection by a Hornquist, by a Nachari, by whoever, right? Guys get in front. They make plays. We have those guys on this team. They need to take advantage of this a bit more. The fancy passing is nice when it works, but hard-working teams will foil those chances. And Nashville worked hard in this one. But in the next game, Panthers came ready to play. They dominated Nashville for most of the first period. Saros also came ready to play. Much like Thursday night, he had an answer for just about everything the Cats were throwing at him. Intensity stayed up all the way into the second period. They kept generating chances, and Saros was there to make the save. Preds get a 2-on-1 after Ekblad gets caught pinching, and Louis Starnen didn't read the play properly, so he hesitated to make a change and then chose to stay on the ice. If you watch the replay of this goal, he almost went to the bench and changed, but realized that it was a 2-on-1 and tried to hustle in to get into the play, but it was too little too late. I mean, again, stuff like that happens. There's nothing you can do. Snap decision. You hope to make the best one, but sometimes it doesn't turn out that way. Doesn't matter, though. Drieger made an incredible save on this play. All that for nothing. Because, my goodness, what a stop by Drieger. Judge Dredd. Judge Dreege. The Dreegites stand upon us. Because that was a glorious save from Chris Drieger. Very 90s-esque stack of the pads. Very fitting on a retro jersey night. And I got to mention Drieger's equipment for this game. His pads, his throwback 90s pads with the horizontal stripes, they look phenomenal. Props to him for getting the gear because just really completed the look. And seeing him stack the pads like a 90s Dominic Hasek, oh my. That was the piece de la resistance on this night. Florida maintains pressure, and they get rewarded as Barkov picks up a puck from Duclair and backhands it top shelf over a flopping Saros, who thought he was hit by a Panthers player, but it actually ended up being his own player. So Cats are up 1-0 on the captain's 13th goal of the season. And the team did a great job defensively holding Nashville to just 13 shots through 2 periods. So really great effort. Nashville wasn't getting much. Not the same success as they were having the previous game. Mostly due to the Panthers' effort and determination to stay on top of the Predators offensively. Verhaeghe, Barkov, Duclair line in this one was all over the ice, just dominant on every shift. They were looking like they did at the start of the season, just overwhelming teams, and with the combination of pressure, speed, and skill, it's just dominant to see at times. Statistically, they are one of the best lines in the league, 5-on-5. So you love to see them when they're really clicking, and Duclair especially is the driver on that line. I find when he's on his game, he really takes that line to another level. It's really special to see. Cats got caught in their own zone, though. Once again, failed to get the puck after a couple of opportunities. And as a result, they take a penalty. Duclair takes a penalty. Under 5 minutes to go. It's all right. They killed it off. They survived the pressure of the Preds. Once again, the penalty kill stepped up big. Really, really stepping up lately and making a difference in games after really struggling early on in the season. The penalty kill has changed their style, changed their method of play, and it's paying dividends right now. Duclair ices it fittingly. Panthers win the game 2-0. Duclair gets the empty netter. Another empty netter for the Cats in this one. First shutout of the season for the Panthers. Chris Driedger made 21 saves. And Cats moved to 9-0-1 this season following a loss. So they're really bouncing back well and not carrying the weight of a loss for too long. Really making sure they get back out there and play well. Main takeaways in this one, 48 shots on net, but not that many high-danger chances. Again, Nashville played a physical game. They tried to play the same style they did on Thursday night, and they couldn't do it with the same success rate. Panthers were just a little more agile, moving their feet a little bit more and handling the puck better. But they still held the Cats to the perimeter. I would like to see the Cats try and get those to those nitty-gritty areas a little bit more, generate some more scoring chances and some more goals, show a little more desperation offensively. If one method isn't working, try tweaking things a bit, getting pucks to the net and jam at it. It's worked for them a lot this season when they do it, like I just said in the previous game. Tough to argue with 48 shots, though, honestly. Saros was once again phenomenal, but I feel like a lot of times this season I have said the goaltender has played phenomenal, and is every goalie in this division just phenomenal? Maybe, but eventually this trend will start to trend towards the side that maybe this team isn't as gifted offensively as they could be or should be or whatever you want to call it. But if they aren't able to start finishing on all these chances more consistently, they're going to struggle down the stretch as teams tighten up defensively ahead of the playoff races. So they got to figure that out either from within or from with outside help via the trade deadline or whatever they choose to do. But it's important. Driedger with the shutout, though. After not playing in 7 games, he came in, shut the door. Second career shutout, both against Nashville, actually. Wasn't the busiest night for him, but sometimes that's tougher for a goalie as a goaltender. You sit there and you watch the play more. It's harder to stay in the game. Sometimes you struggle with that, but he did not. 21 saves. Came up big when he needed to. Had that really big save in the second period. When a team overwhelms a team like the Panthers did on this night, goaltending can get lost in the shuffle, but in reality, the Panthers only won this game 1-0, and without Driedger's perfect performance, that result may have been very different. So, good game for Driegs. The final game of the week takes us to Tampa Bay as the Panthers started a 5-game road trip against the Bolts, and the Cats came out with a plethora of chances to start this one. Tampa Bay once again starting Curtis McElhinney against the Panthers and made some great stops early on, but a few minutes in, Barkov takes advantage of a mistake by Palat in his own zone. Barkov gets the backhand over to Verhaeghe, and he finishes off nicely on his own backhand for his 12th of the season. All those goals at even strength. Really impressive stat from him right now. 12 goals, none on the power play. I think he deserves a little more power play time. I really do. Just 32 seconds later, though, Lightning get it back. Gudas loses his man in front, and rebound squeaks out to Yanni Gourde, and we're even, 1-1. Teams exchanged some chances the rest of the first, but it finishes tied. Panthers took a couple of penalties to start the second period, but they do a pretty good job of killing it off against the number 2 power play in the league. They're really pressuring, as I mentioned. They're really pressuring the play these days and not sitting back like they were in the early days of the season. They're starting to create more scoring chances for themselves on the penalty kill as well. Shorter-handed, they've increases their opportunities quite a bit. We've seen a couple of guys get robbed over the last couple of weeks. So the shorthanded goals will come. Barkov got the shorthanded goal earlier this week against Chicago, so they're going to start coming more. It's just a natural result of the style that they're playing now on the PK with the pressure that they're relentlessly putting on teams. Tampa takes a 2-1 lead, though, 11 minutes into the second. Cernak throws it on net. Bolts get a favorable bounce, and Killorn scores his 9th of the season. This was a real shame goal because the Panthers, they were all over the Bolts defensively at this point, and they weren't really giving them much. But this was kind of like a weird play that just resulted in a goal. It happens. This is hockey. There's an element of randomness always to it. But the Cats get it back. Toronto finishes a rebound one-handed. He finished this goal one-handed to tie it up. Or does he? Tampa challenges the play, and it was offside. Uyghur caught the puck midair and at the blue line. Was it offside? The TV I was watching, the Fox Sports Florida guys did not show the right angles at the time. It looked a little onside from where I saw, but I saw a picture online later on where Uyghur was clearly offside. A good foot, maybe even 2 feet past the blue line, catching that puck midair. So nowhere near onside on that play. So unfortunately, the goal gets called back. But that's okay. The team didn't deflate after that call that didn't go their way. That's all right. They just kept working. Just like Quenneville said a couple of games ago. They just expect something to happen for them eventually if they just keep playing hard, and they did. They got a late power play in the second, and looks like they're not going to get much going on. But really late in the power play, the second unit does what they do, simplify their game. Forsling puts his head down, rips a laser through traffic, and this one counts. Tie game. Forsling's 5th point in 7 games, and once again, that simple power play does what it does. Getting pucks to the net. 2-2, tie game going into the third. Duclair gets himself a chance after some speed in the neutral zone a few minutes into the third, but that is stopped. Everyone crashes into the net after the play. Puck seems to reveal itself sitting on the goal line. NHL operations calls into the arena. Says they want to look at the play. Unfortunately for the Panthers, there was no real clear view of the puck actually being across the goal line at the time. It was tied up in McElhaney's pad. Couldn't see it. If you have no clear vision of the puck being across the line, even if there's been situations where a goaltender has caught a puck in his glove, the puck physically, you know the puck is past the goal line because the glove is past the goal line. But if there's no concrete visible proof of the puck being past the goal line and there being white ice between the puck and the red line, then there is no way that they will call the goal a goal because they can't definitively prove it that it's a goal. You can't award a goal based on an assumption. So this would have been an assumption. I think I saw later on there was a different angle that they were showing us that may have been close when the puck popped out a little bit under McElhaney's pad, but I don't think it was conclusive enough to count. I think the NHL operations made the right call on this one. They considered a goal. They considered looking at it. They looked at it for a while, but I think they made the right move and calling it no goal. Unfortunate for the Panthers as it is. But Bolts took a lead shortly after that. Wraparound play that takes a bounce favoring the Lightning, and they're up 3-2. This is a play you wish Bob would have had. This is a weird broken play again. Another quick quick play that just catches Bob off guard, and I don't put this goal on him, but this is one that you wish he would have had. This is a tight game against the division leaders at this point, and everybody's got to be on their A game. Can't have stuff like this happen. Not long after that, though, Panthers find themselves on the power play. Yandel takes a page out of Forsling's book in the second power play unit, just rips a shot from the point, and this time it's Mr. You-Know-Who on the power play. Patty Hornquist tips it in. Tie game. But Panthers can't stay out of the box. They killed themselves in this one. Eventually it was going to catch up to them. You know it, right? They do a good job of killing this penalty. About a minute and 45 seconds into the penalty, Tampa finally strikes. It's a play with speed through the neutral zone once again. Gets the best of the Florida defense. Puck bounces off of Tyler Johnson's skate. Tampa leads 4-3. 4 of Tyler Johnson's 7 goals this season have come against the Panthers. They did a really good job on the penalty kill, but got to stay tight for the full 2 minutes. Yandel takes a stupid retaliation penalty after this one. Bolts go back on the power play again, but luckily the Panthers killed it. Second best power play in the league. You cannot be taking penalties like this, Yandel. Really poorly thought out decision from him. Especially worst case, even worse because it's with less than 10 minutes left in the game and your team's fighting to get back against the defending Stanley Cup champions. I mean, what are you doing? Game got really chippy from this point. Uyghur and Palat got into it. A little bit of tussle. They both went for 4 minutes. Cats got a power play after a little Huberdeau tussle. Couldn't do much. They pulled Bobrovsky with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, but they are unable to generate much. They had possession for most of that time, but they just wouldn't take the shot. Yandel and Huberdeau, once again, playing catch with the puck. They got to simplify their game. They got to just get pucks in the net. Just waiting for the defense to magically open up and provide them a giant shooting lane. I don't know what their expectations are. They're not moving their feet either. If they were moving their feet and Tampa's defense was just doing an incredible job of staying on top of them, I'd say, yeah, you know what? There's not much you can do in that situation. But that's not what the case was. Too much standing still and just waiting for the opposition's defense to just fall apart, I guess, and just get confused. I don't know what the play is there. At least get the puck to the net. You create some chances. You got some big bodies down there. They had Marchman on the ice. They got Barkov down low there. Like, there's guys who can get their puck. Like, Hornquist is down there too. Like, those are all guys who can get their sticks on the puck and bat one in. And a lot of times when you score one in the last 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever, it's a goal like that, and they didn't do it. Didn't get it done. And I'm getting pretty tired of seeing the Huberdeau and the Yandel catch game. I really am. Main takeaways from this one, I want to see more from Huberdeau in a game like this. Your best players need to be your best players to beat the best on most nights. And Huberdeau didn't have his best game. And the team needed more from him on this one. I think their effort was there, but a little more skill would have gone a long way for them in this one. The penalty kill. Although they finally succumbed to Tampa's efforts on their final attempt, they did a great job in this game pressuring the Lightning and not giving them a lot. They had a lot of chances to score themselves. Tampa has a wicked power play that moves the puck quickly, and speeding up that decision process will naturally lead to more mistakes, and the Panthers did a great job of that in this one. I got to give them props for that. It was a tough loss, but they need to move on quickly from it because they were the better team tonight, but they just chose to overthink their game at the wrong times. It's a tough loss from the team. Got to move on from it, though. They really do. Now it's time for the famous segment of 2 points. That's right. It's the world famous segment of Project Panthers. 2 points. In the NHL, you got to get the 2 points to win and get to the Stanley Cup playoffs to play for Lord Stanley's Cup. So it's time for 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. Point number 1, the special teams. I was just talking about it. They really improved. They really, really have improved. Although the power play has slowed down a little bit, they were on fire to start the season. The penalty kill has really taken a shining right now. They've gone from a bottom 10 league to a 11th place team in penalty killing this season. This is all points to the coaching staff for changing the strategy up, and mid-season they're mimicking the style of the teams that have had success against their power play this year, and that adjustment has made a difference for them significantly. You want to have good penalty killing and good power play going into the playoffs if you want to have success, because often those chances are few and far between, and you want to strike when the iron's hot. So shoring up that penalty killing situation this season is important for this team. So great job by them. And point number 2, Florida's 2019 first-round pick, 13th overall, goaltender Spencer Knight has won the 2020-21 Hockey East Player of the Year award. He's also a finalist for the Hobey Baker Award for the best player in all of U.S. college hockey this season. Knight is about to turn 20. You know he sees the situation in Florida with Bob. I wonder what he's thinking. Knight's name has sat in the back of the heads of Panthers fans ever since Bob was signed to that 7-year deal almost 2 years ago. Is Knight interested in coming in and backing Bob up for potentially 2 more seasons, maybe even 3? 3 years is a long time, though. A lot can change in that window. Who knows where we'll be at that point? Some people are speculating that Knight will want out of the organization for fear of a lack of opportunity due to Bob's elephant of a contract. Maybe he spends a year in the AHL when he signs with the team. Maybe 2. He does need to earn his roster spot after all. Whether or not this has any merit to that speculation, whether or not there is any merit to that speculation is yet to be seen. But we do know that Spencer Knight's situation is going to come up sooner rather than later for this team. He's achieved a lot in college hockey already and will soon to take the next step in his career. Where that next step is, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But that's it for me this week, friends. It was a bit of a tough week for the Panthers this time around. I feel the team, they played some good games, but they didn't get the outcomes they wanted. They're back in action on Tuesday night against the Blackhawks in Chicago. Second game on their current 5-game road trip. Hopefully they keep it up with the effort and they don't get too disgruntled for not getting the points they may or may not have deserved this week. I think overall they played really well, though, so they just got to keep at it. Keep their game simple. Keep pressuring. Keep doing what they can do. Chicago's a really good team offensively. They gotta keep their heads on a swivel because they'll punish you. Once again, I am Brunswick. Thanks again for listening to Project Panthers. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts by searching Project Panthers. On Twitter at PROJ Panthers. On Instagram by searching Project Panthers Pod. And now on Facebook by searching Project Panthers. Feel free to send your questions to us at email at projectpantherspod@gmail.com. I will read your questions in the show. Looking forward to another successful week for the Panthers on this one, and hopefully a winning record. Plus 500 at least, right? I am Brunswick. Have a week.